With the release of Shattered Space, Starfield now has a new type of resource, Vortex Shards. But what are these tiny pieces of quantum terror good for? Here's how to use Vortex Shards in Starfield's Shattered Space expansion, and some places to find them. Vortex Shards can be harvested from any type of Vortex enemy. This goes for horrors, horrorlings, phantoms, and even Vortex spawn. Any place where you fight these creatures can be a good place to farm them, and we'll go over some specific areas later. Keep in mind that Vortex Shards, which are what we're looking for, are different from Varun's Star Shards, as these are just particle beam pistols most phantoms are carrying. Horrors and horrorlings, but not the humanoid phantoms, will also drop 3 different types of cysts: glowing, dark, and just plain old Vortex cysts. These are the second half of what you need to use Vortex Shards. Once you've progressed the main storyline through the end of the Promised Broken quest to the point where you're told to speak to Ekris, make sure to exhaust his conversation options about how he might be able to help you. He'll let you know that once you're at an industrial workbench, I recommend just building one on your ship if you haven't already, you can combine these shards and cysts to form 5 different types of grenades. Some of these grenades, like charged and binding grenades, only seem to work on Vortex creatures, but phasing grenades appear to work as intended on other beings as well. We'll go over all the grenade types now. Binding Vortex grenades cost 1 shard and 1 dark Vortex cyst. Binding grenades will freeze enemies in place. Charged Vortex grenades cost a shard and 1 glowing Vortex cyst, and operate like conventional grenades. They just look a lot cooler. Lure Vortex grenades cost a shard, a normal Vortex cyst, and a dark Vortex cyst. They actually summon Vortex horrors.
Where did they go?
Find them. Right behind you, Andreja.
Here they are.
There you go. Phasing Vortex grenades cost a shard, a normal cyst, and a glowing Vortex cyst. They can phase targets out of existence, meaning they can't damage you for a time, but you can't damage them either. And finally, unstable Vortex grenades cost just a shard and a normal cyst. They'll have one of the random Vortex effects when you throw them. Notice I said when you throw them and not when you create them, because the game only decides when they're actually used. To test it, I kept reloading a quick save and throwing the same unstable grenade, and got several different types. You can find Vortex creatures anywhere with a giant blue energy anomalies. This includes the disaster site near Dazra. You can keep walking in circles around the glowing blue area, and a ton of phantoms will spawn, and very seldomly, some horrors as well. You can also return to the Oracle if you so wish, and some more phantoms may spawn there, but generally, you won't have much trouble finding phantoms. Cysts are much harder to find since you can only get them from non-humanoid Vortex creatures, but you can farm some cysts and shards in the anomalous cave during the Other Side story mission. While in this cave, a ton of Vortex creatures will spawn, and most of them will drop shards and varying kinds of cysts. But keep in mind that it seals off when you exit, so once you're out, you can't grab any more from this cave. Other than the anomalous cave, you'll mostly just see horrors and horrorlings during story missions, such as Conflict and Conviction while you're chasing down Varric. They're much, much rarer than shards though, so this will be your biggest obstacle to building Vortex grenades.
No! They are coming!
Having trouble getting through Shattered Space? Make sure you check out our wiki on IGN.com, and for everything else Starfield, keep it right here on IGN.